Hello there! This is the greetings from the finest channel on YouTube to you. 12 years and 8 months ago, the legend of the best acrobat of Disney Kid was born. Buttowski is a mostly episodic series that should be enjoyed while relaxing on the sofa. However, it hides a modest story that deserves to be explained in detail. So get comfortable, because we will take you on a journey of nostalgia on how Kick Buttowski begins and ends. If we take the Buttowski family tree as the core, the story begins with Kick's maternal grandfather, the best messenger of Mellowbrook, who was recruited by a US military general for an important secret mission. They have observed his delivery skills for a long time and consider him the most suitable for the mission. The mission consists of going to Europe to prevent the powerful formula of rocket fuel, also known as Jaguar juice, from falling into the hands of the Tankistan leader, which is made with Jaguar juice. He uses all his intelligence and physical skills to defend the only scientist who has the formula for Jaguar juice, even if it means facing a military army, a tank, a reverse rocket launcher, and the most challenging of all, Gunther. The grandfather is decorated for his valor, and his motorcycle is equipped with Jaguar juice to continue his spy mission. Moving on to Kick's parents, Harold Buttowski is a pretty normal guy, and the most remarkable thing about him is that he is a family man. For example, before having his first child, he took charge and was aware of the construction of their house. On the other hand, Honey Buttowski wants all the extreme genes from her father, and, for a while, was the famous Honey Splash, an acrobat who dedicated herself to extreme boat diving. Unfortunately, her career ends when she was about to break the speed record on the water, until a tragic accident stopped her dreams. When the unfortunate accident ends her career in the peak moment of her life, she dedicates herself to being a mother to her 3 children, as she loves them more than her own life and career. But the 3 of her children fight so frequently, it is hard for her to picture the 3 of them all together, so she treasures the only portrait of them resembling the family's unit. So let's delve into the oldest of the tree, Brad Buttowski. At only 16 to 18 years old, he is a complete disaster of a person, and likely a disgrace to the family. He is messy, lazy, arrogant, cowardly, a pushover, and extremely simple-minded. His greatest weakness is women, to the point where he obsessively collects chewing gum from his crushes to treasure them in a collection of sorts. As he lacks any talent or virtues to make him stand out, he seeks popularity to attract girls, since he has zero ability to communicate with them, let alone win them over. When he sets his sight on a girl, he becomes obsessed and loses his mind over her, which also causes many girls to see him as a fool and take advantage of his weakness. The thing is, whenever he gets close to scoring with a girl, it falls apart, and he ends up satisfying himself by watching the adult franchise Lumberjacks in Bikinis, which is an obvious lighthearted reference to pages that we kids consume like crazy in private. Lumberjacks in Bikinis is another one of his obsessions, so much so that the degenerate doesn't even try to hide watching it in front of his family. But one thing we can highlight about him is that at least he tries to get a job. Otherwise, he would run out of the bushy hair that his mom donates to him. And to try and look cool in front of the girls he's after, there's also the youngest and favorite daughter, Brianna, who is the #1 shining star here. Brianna Buttowski is the protected and spoiled one, despite being quite crappy for being around 5 to 8 years old. She manipulates her parents where she doesn't get what she wants and sabotages her siblings, and they end up turning against her because she idolizes the mega actor star, Tina. Sometimes she dreams of being like her, and her clothing is inspired by Tina. In fact, it's the same outfit. She has been so influenced by this fake actress that she participates in talent and beauty contests for young girls aspiring to be a star someday. Now let's move on to the tough guy of tough guys. The cartoonized Rocky Balboa, the great-great-grandson of Superman, the grandson of MacGyver, the son of Deadpool, and gentlemen, I present to you the best acrobat in the world, Kick Buttowski. From his early years in life, he awakens what his grandfather and mother passed down to him, the love for the extreme. His first extreme choice was to buy his inseparable friend at the big toy store in Mellowbrook. The truth is that the helmet is just any toy. But due to advertising, little Buttowski believes that his helmet was forged in the flames of the incredible and tempered in the waters of bravery, the helmet of awesome. The helmet becomes the great inspiration to start running his race toward the most extreme. Clarence doesn't feel like an acrobat without his helmet. It's his main identity, and he clings a lot to this idea of his personality. That's why he'll never take it off, always naked, but never without the helmet. Without a helmet, there's no risk. You will have to wait to know what's under his helmet, as it will continue to be a mystery to you before we give a proper explanation. His mother notices his interest in acrobatics, and remembering her times as Honey Splash makes him a suit that matches the red and white colors of the helmet to support his hobby. His next extreme acquisition is the Tri-5X, the most extreme tricycle of all, with which he has his first hospitalization because the stunt doesn't go well. Another of his most precious relics for stunts is his scooter, the blue skateboard he calls the Stumped. Without these relics, he wouldn't be a daredevil as he aspired to be one. One of the most important people for Clarence is his older brother Brad, who is excited about his birth and took care of him from a very young age. They get along so well that they get scared together by the horror stories their father, Harold, tells them. However, at some point, they go from being best friends to the biggest enemies. Their rivalry is mutual, although Brad is clearly the bully due to his physical superiority. He usually films Clarence's stunts, sometimes the failed ones, to upload them to the internet and become famous at the cost of his little brother's embarrassment. I'm sure Brad has used the magnificent insult, loser, to make his point when he should be keeping the name to himself. This bad relationship may be simply because Brad has become a pretentious teenager and is ashamed of his younger brother, who has a more innocent idea of life. Although, the root of this abuse may be because, deep down, Brad feels inferior to Clarence, as the little chubby guy definitely has a clearer idea of what he wants to do in life and is much cooler than the dirty one. Going deeper into the 12-year-old Clarence, we have a fearless, dwarf-looking little daredevil weighing only 23 kilograms, but who is more extreme than any of us together. He is addicted to the adrenaline that his stunts provide, which is why he keeps raising the bar so that his feats are more deadly, and the adrenaline rush is greater. He goes from jumping out of a plane to get to school to wanting to jump over an active nuclear reactor with his tremendous butt. Of course, one of his biggest dreams is to cross Dead Man's Hill, a challenge that will surely cause his death, just like it did to the greatest skateboarder of all time, Dave. But Clarence Francis Buttowski is not afraid of death. Giving up is not in his vocabulary. Not only that, but also the little daredevil speaks with that mysterious voice because he's quite badass. His acrobatic level has reached over 9,000, but he still needs to level up to be on par with his 5 idols. His 5th influence is Mike Motocross, one of the greatest motorcycle riders of all time. His name was engraved in the World Book of the Incredible because he is the stuntman who broke the most bones in a single crash. Having a record in the World Book of the Incredible is important for all stuntmen. His 4th influence is Boom McCondor, a famous daredevil who loves risking his life for no other reason than to surpass himself in his stunts and the adrenaline he experiences. His 3rd influence is Dave, who is considered the father of modern skateboarding in that animated universe and a legend in extreme sports. He forged his own skateboard and conquered a bunch of stunts before he died. He wanted a worthy daredevil to be his successor and inherit his valuable skateboard. So, he turned his lair into a cave of deadly traps for the worthy and daring person who wants to inherit his skateboard. Legend has it that Dave died jumping off the world's most dangerous hill, and his skeleton is preserved there, which is why the hill was named Dead Man's Hill. His motto could be, do it all and then some. His 2nd influence is Rock Caller, a renowned actor in zombie and action movies, who likes to crack his neck. His biggest influence is undoubtedly Billy Stumps, an ultra-stunt artist who even lost his left arm because of his passion. They specialize in doing all kinds of stunts, driving monster cars from 4x4s to trucks. The stunt of driving in the air with the greatest number of wheels led him to be recorded in the World Book of the Incredible. Clarence wants to be like his 5 idols, learn from them, and aspire to have his name inked in the World Book of the Incredible. Although extreme demands on him, he wants to be the greatest acrobat of all time. However, he does not want to be remembered by his name, Clarence, which he dislikes because it doesn't sound cool. So he gives himself the name Kick Buttowski as a metaphor for kicking butts to keep improving. He not only records his stunts to upload them to the internet for recognition, but also consumes the most devilish drink of all, Cheetah Chug, made with cheetah sweat that maximizes anyone's extreme potential. So, this is the origin of Kick Buttowski, which we just have witnessed. We can't continue telling the story without adding the nicest guy in the series, and Kick's best friend, Gunther Magnuson. He's not nearly as extreme as Kick, but he's an unconditional friend who is always there to support him when his stunts fail, and congratulate him when he succeeds. He also usually cleans up his messes and prevents him from getting killed. We have a clear example of this when Kick feels ready to conquer the Dead Man's Drop Hill, and everyone makes fun of him except for Gunther. When Kick fails on his first attempt, Brad takes the opportunity to humiliate him in front of the crowd, but Kick's incredible ability to never give up and Gunther's support allows him to conquer the Dead Man's Drop on his second attempt, just like Dave. Another example of friendship is when Kick falls asleep and misses the opportunity to see Billy's stumps. He knows how much Billy means to Gunther, so he does everything he can to give him a second chance, even if it means drinking countless gallons of Cheetah Chug and potentially having a heart attack. The energy drink is sponsoring the event, and whoever finds the promotional key in a can wins an exclusive pass to sit with Billy. Kick not only knows stones thanks to Gunther, but also receives direct congratulations from his ultimate idol. We must also remember when Kick completed a stunt, but his helmet broke, causing a slide in his personality and a loss of purpose like a few times before and after. Kick falls into depression, but there's Gunther to revive him. In fact, Gunther manages to contact Billy Stumps to strengthen the kid and make him realize that it's not the material, but the unbreakable personality of the acrobat that matters. For all of us to stay calm, Kick finds the helmet in the same place where he lost it. We must understand that failed stunts have left him a little slow. Kick and Gunther's connection goes beyond a love of action. They grew up together since their parents are friends even before God blessed them. So, Gunther understands how important Kick's path as an acrobat is for him. He has seen him progress like no one else, which is why he collected great relics that Kick no longer uses to exhibit them in a garage museum. This is also why, when they turn a drainage ditch into the perfect hideout to chill, invent things for stunts and perform acrobatics. They protect it with their lives because it's synonymous with their brotherhood. Kick is reciprocal with his buddy. For example, when his family restaurant enters an absolute crisis due to a lack of customers and they're likely to move to Norway, he helps to give the restaurant a theme that attracts the interest of the public. Kick can't imagine a life without his protector, and Gunther can't imagine living without the fun that his favorite acrobat brings him. Gunther has Nordic descent and is destined to become a Viking, and with that body, it's no wonder. Also, there is another person who is important to Kick and Gunther, who is Wade. Wade is a simple bum who lives in a hole under his stepmother's trailer, and his only job has been as a gas station attendant, whose best customers are Kick and Gunther, as they like to visit Wade to do challenges with the store's items. Nevertheless, Wade is a great guy, and always there to help the guys out of trouble, from fixing their transports to supplying them with 6-packs of square parts. Moving a little closer to the intermediate between ally and pain in the neck, we have Kyle, Kick's cousin. I don't blame Kick for wanting to get rid of him, because he just doesn't leave him alone. And when Kyle interrupts his acrobatics, a very serious problem arises because Cousin Kyle misses the opportunity to be recorded in the World Book of the Incredible with the mega acrobatics. However, later Kick discovers that Kyle admires him a lot, and that's why he wants to be by his side. Kick is moved by his cousin and decides to spend time with him without being bothered by his hyperactivity. The world's best stuntman never gives up, always focuses, and has determination in his blood, just like me. Another intense character is Jackie, the ultra-mega fan of Kick. At first, he welcomes the sensation of having a fervent admirer with open arms. He likes to be admired, after all. It's what he's looking for on his way to becoming the best acrobat. But sooner rather than later, he discovers that Jackie has serious mental problems, and her fandom is an unhealthy obsession. He gets disturbed when he sees her simulating him with a watermelon, and is annoyed when he's constantly stalked by the crazy fan. The worst part is that Kick is forced to expose himself to the outside world to perform his acrobatics, and Jackie lives in the same neighborhood, so he has no escape. So he accepts his reality and decides to get to know her a little better, discovering a sad backstory. Kick discovers that Jackie is a lonely girl because people avoid her due to her misunderstood personality, adding to the instability caused by having to move around a lot due to her parents' situation. Kick is moved, and when he sees that nobody attends her birthday party, he doesn't hesitate to support her. Indeed, the noble Kick Buttowski throws her the first and best party of her life. As for the antagonist, we have Miss Ciccarelli, who practically hates all the kids in the neighborhood, especially those who cause havoc. Let's remember that she ruined the life of the school janitor, as he used to work where Kick and his friends attend. Other antagonists are Mouth, Ronaldo, this unpleasant rich guy named Gordon Gibble, who looks like Justin Bieber, Deposit Twins, the bald guy from the supermarket, the librarian, and the bullies who hang out with his brother called Pansy and Horace. But, well, if we talk about antagonists with higher volume, we have Kendall Perkins. Kendall is the complete opposite. Here, she's polite, organized, studious, and elegant, so a negative vibe is created between the two. Kendall takes advantage of situations to embarrass her and show her that she's a negative example of life. On the other hand, Kick tries to ignore her, and when he can't, he desperately seeks to give her a lesson to annoy her. However, it becomes more of a love-hate relationship on Kendall's part than Kick's. The short, fat boy is quite close to romance. On the other hand, when Kick is pursued by Pansy, he really wants to get out of the cinema, and has no choice but to divert his attention by planting a big kiss on Kendall, who is watching French art cinema. I didn't know the blonde was enchanted and eager for more, but Kick was left hanging and wanted Kendall's pride, which causes a great love-hate relationship on the girl's part. In fact, don't hesitate to make him angry by calling him by the real name that he detests. Clarence continues to ignore her, which causes greater interest on Kendall's part, who truly likes Clarence because he finds him incredible. And this attraction comes from Kick's opposite personality that can provide unknown experiences in his simple life. Let's hope Clarence Francis Kick Buttowski matures and gives the blonde a chance. And I say she deserves to have fun with someone extreme like Kick, since her strict and calm personality doesn't even let her have friends who would attend her birthday parties. Poor thing. But today let's delve into the final stretch before the finish line, so I can demonstrate and explain the linear development of this series. We have Kick daring to prove himself worthy of inheriting the skateboard of the Dead Man Cave. As you can imagine, he surpasses all the deadly trials of Dave's cave and even defeats a rat queen. Later, he not only gets the precious skateboard as a reward, but also discovers that the dead Dave is actually alive. He just faked his death on Dead Man's Hill to disappear from the public's eye and enjoy a quiet life. And if you're wondering about the corpse on Dead Man's Hill, well, it's very likely that it's One-Eyed Jackson, the only confirmed visible character as non-living. One-Eyed Jackson died a long time ago when he crashed at Curve 6. Later on, he creates a band, the Chimichangas, to win a Battle of the Bands contest and recover the lair from the dirty hands of the Yeah Brads, consisting of Brad, Horace, and Pansy. And yes, he recovers the lair that he shares with his best friend Gunther. Shortly after, Kick finishes proving that this lair is synonymous with brotherhood, as they fight with Gordon Gibble, who looks like Justin Bieber, and Deposit Twins, who wants to ruin the significant place by covering it with a bridge. We also have the launch of Cheetah Chug, which is 10,000 times more powerful, and Brad Buttowski continues to consume lumberjacks in bikinis, like he's demented because he still can't give it up. Remember Honey's father and Kick's grandfather? Well, Honey sends Kick to his grandfather's house at first. He feels rejected because the grandfather seems absolutely non-extreme. However, the grandfather tells him how he became a spy to protect the toy and end the tyranny of the dictator of Tankistan. Kick is impressed by his grandfather's past and knows where his reckless spirit comes from. Soon the dwarf discovers from whom he inherited his his acrobatic genes in the world. Buttowski's Honey is back again, attempting to break the speed record on water, but once again suffers an injury to her flexor tendon ligament. However, this time she receives help from her son to complete the task. Honey realizes that her son is the true acrobat of the family and deserves recognition. She thanks him for keeping her legacy alive by exhibiting her iconic red and white costume in his museum. The three Buttowski siblings ruin the only photo they have together, but they feel guilty and work together to take another one, showing their mother that they love her and tried their best. Without letting go of the family and concluding Brianna Buttowski's arc, we have Kick ruining her chance to win a talent contest, as usual. Her friend Penelope Patterson mocks and humiliates him. So, Kick accepts the shame of dancing and decides to be his little sister's partner to help her win the contest. Brianna can keep dreaming of being a star like Tina sometimes. To close the family arc, we have the return of Cousin Kyle, more intense than ever. But this time, it's Christmas, and he couldn't care less about it. He prefers to take advantage of the snow to perform new sled stunts, but he has to do it in secret so that his dad doesn't interrupt him. We all get moved to learn that Kyle hardly enjoys Christmas because his parents are absent due to excessive work. Now it's time to go to Dead Man's Hill. Kick looks for a gift for Kyle, as he is like an angel to him before the Christmas gift exchange. During the exchange, Brad gives his mother some dollars that will make her his slave for a limited time. Brianna gives her father a card full of egocentrism and perfume. Honey gives Brianna a portrait of herself, and Harold gives them both tickets to a live event of lumberjacks in bikinis on ice, one for him and another for whomever he wants to take. Unfortunately, Kick doesn't get a gift for his cousin Kyle, who is eagerly waiting for it. However, Kyle says that the best gift is having fun with him. To make up for it, Kick takes Kyle with him to go down to Dead Man's Hill. Kyle gives Kick a sled made of wood from Brad's bed, as Kick lied and said that he didn't have a sled to get rid of him. We don't stop with the conclusions now. Let's finish developing Gunther, the muscular magnum. It turns out that it's time for him to perform the family ritual of becoming an official Viking. If he fails, he will end up washing fish like his uncle Christopher. Gunther is nervous and doesn't want to disappoint his parents, Magnus Magnuson and Helga Magnuson, his best friend Kick, and himself. Kick helps him gain confidence, assuring him that he will be there for him. Gunther, who used to be calm, is nevertheless invited by Billy Stumps himself to one of his events in Mellowbrook. Kick loses his mind because he has to split his time between his best friend's ceremony and his idol's event. Without energy, he confesses to his idol that supporting his best friend is more important. Billy doesn't object and actually helps him to arrive on time to Gunther's ceremony. Gunther is now an official Viking. Therefore, on the day of the annual festival of the hero Thor Thorson's death, he must honor the greatest hero of his homeland. However, he is the chosen one, and the motherland invites his whole family. In summary, Honey and Brianna spend all of Brad's college funds on souvenirs. Harold is anxious to explore and study Viking history. Brad finds a tremendous Viking hottie and couldn't be happier, but when he realizes that the Viking hottie is only after his money, he decides to leave. Kick helps Gunther become recognized as a great Viking in his motherland, almost at the same level as Thor Thorson. And finally, for the romantic plot, there is a very important and unprecedented event. His brother Brad finally hooks up with a girl, but it's not exactly as he thought because the girl that he's seeing only wants to humiliate him in front of the whole school to become popular as a cheerleader. Kick discovers Kelly's scheme and, against his will, tells Brad, who is too infatuated to see reason. Kelly is about to embarrass him in front of the school, but Buttowski saves his reputation. Kelly confesses to Brad that she's only using him to become a cheerleader, and that she would never date a loser like him. Brad falls apart, but Buttowski reminds him that he has people who appreciate and respect him, like his lackeys, Pansy and Horace, who still fawn over him despite being rejected and humiliated countless times. Brad does not want to die as an inexperienced loser and goes back to April, who rejected him back in kindergarten, and today will be different. However, April is charming and rejects him again, as Brad is a scoundrel with 2 balls to pretend to be interested in her despite being a total loser. Kick saves the day once again, and April is impressed with him. But Brad uses the situation to his advantage and is now proud to have Kick as his brother. In exchange, Brad has to give Kick his VIP pass to the movies. April puts on her best gala, and the idiot Brad picks her up at her house. Kick impresses April and she has fun with him, but he remembers the deal and stops being extreme to help his pig of a brother. Finally, the official sales of Rock Callahan are announced. Although clearly Brad doesn't keep his word, because when April says she wants to go to the movies to see the new Rock Callahan film, he doesn't hesitate to betray his one and only brother to seal the deal with April. However, as it is in his nature, Brad screws up without Kick, as April realizes that he is a pig, not at all chivalrous, and a lousy older brother. So, April takes Kick to see the movies, and they probably have a happy ending. Yes, that pronounced booty comes in handy. I mean Kick's butt, obviously don't think wrong. Lastly, before going to the final episodes, I have to explain what happened with Kendall's guy. Remember that I told you only Kick was missing to feel attached because they were dating? Well, they are obligatory paired for a school dance project, with the tension of wanting to kill each other. But they end up discovering that by mixing the incredible and elegance, they can make it work. Kick performs a freestyle like in wrestling, and Kendall an elegant style like in opera. And they rock it. In fact, they beat Gunther and Jack, and the crazy girl who was also brilliant. Not only do they achieve chemistry for dancing, but also for doing something more than just bothering their enemies. Despite both liking each other, Kendall plays hard to get, and tries to make Kick jealous with the bombshell of Ronaldo. They have no chemistry because Ronaldo is a pretentious, personality-less nerd, and Kendall wants something more free-spirited. Ronaldo is too scientific, and couldn't be more uncool. Ronaldo realizes that his girlfriend is eyeing Kick, and instead of becoming a pathetic, jealous person, or calling the blonde selfish, he prefers to make a deal with Kick. With his science, he helps him conquer an extreme competition where you win $50,000. But in return, Kick teaches him how to be cool. Kendall notices the change in her boyfriend, and thanks him for it. So she goes to a cave to collect some sap samples for Ronaldo's science project, taking advantage of the fact that this sap would be her birthday gift. However, fate puts her in the same cave as Kick, and both get stuck together with sap on their hands. Kick needs to detach himself because he doesn't want people to think that the blonde is his girlfriend. And Kendall needs to detach herself because she doesn't want to arrive at her boyfriend's birthday party with Kick. Once again, she collaborates with him, wanting to do it in her extreme way, but it doesn't work. Kendall curses at him, and now she does it her way, but situations arise that can be misinterpreted. To sum it up, to scare mouth away, Kendall makes Kick look pretty so Gordon Gibble won't suspect anything. Kendall has to admit that Kick is incredible so Jackie will have to leave her alone. She also has to fart to pretend to be Gunther so that Jackie doesn't think it's her. And Kick has to kiss her again for the second time so that Ronaldo won't realize what she's doing. And Kendall has to fly like a flash fart to get to Ronaldo's garage and use the solvent to detach themselves, especially because they were about to arrive at his party. Once again, they use chaos and order to achieve their goal, and once again, they complement each other, giving the feeling that they want to make out. Kendall demonstrates again that he wants Clarence to be his man when he subtly knocks out Ronaldo because Kick has to replace him in the play Romeo and Juliet. And, of course, he has to kiss Kendall, who plays Juliet. although the jerk prefers to knock himself out rather than have more feelings for Kendall. Sweet sorrow. Although a little later, Kick ends up accepting that he likes Kendall when she shows potential for acrobatics. But now we have come to the end of this Disney XD animated legend, which may surprise you as the series was not renewed for another season. But apparently, the staff knew the fate of their creation and decided to give it a disguised closure in 2 episodes. The first episode is Last Fan Standing. Kick has practiced for weeks without sleeping to get closer to the best acrobats. In fact, he dreams of performing an acrobatic feat with his 5 idols, but Gunther advises him that he needs to first repair his sleep. However, his first crush on Anita's husband seems to say that he is his #1 fan. Therefore, his second crush on Anita's husband seems to reclaim his place. Kick is living his worst nightmare, dealing with his cousin Kyle and his mom, who are out to kill each other while he takes the deepest nap of his life. Obviously, they don't leave him alone. In fact, they throw a party in the neighborhood with a bunch of characters of greater or lesser importance who appeared throughout the series. Although when Kick is about to scream from the stress caused by these 2 demons, he tells them that he just wants to sleep. It turns out that they understand and let him sleep. The problem is that just as his 5 idols arrive outside his house to invite him to perform an acrobatic feat together, Kyle and Jackie order that they leave Kick alone to sleep. And these 2 send away the 5 great acrobats. Thus, Kick lost his golden ticket, ending the episode. Kyle and Jackie discover that they have much in common and adore each other, and they do the steps. However, just when the sneak Gunther comes to create chaos by claiming that he is the true #1 fan, the friendship between Kyle and Jackie is true. The second episode, which feels like a true open-ended finale, is Rocked. Kick dreams as if he were in a Rock movie. In fact, the adult version we see of him is the appearance of Rock. The first feat we see of adult Kick is crossing Dead Man's Hill with his custom motorcycle to stop a bank robbery. Soon after, we see the adult version of Gunther, who takes on the appearance of Billy Stumps now. And we can see adult cousin Kyle and his adult mother following their fandom of Kick. Jackie is also an adult, and there is a brief Easter egg in the Tina Sometimes Marathon commercial, implying that Brianna finally became the stunt double of her female idol. Then, the Dark One appears to threaten his archenemy, Kick Buttowski, with the most powerful laser in the world, capable of destroying an entire city unless he gives him a fleet of gold yachts, the Hope Diamond, an Onyx Monster, a limousine, a page of pretzels, a spaceship, and $10 billion in pennies. An adult Kendall also appears, who stars at the end of the series, and is probably the main reason why many people watched this video. But let's not get hot under the collar, as the series ends with Kendall arriving at Dark Secret's lair to give him her stupid demands. However, to make everything more confusing, it turns out that Kendall is just a disguise that Kick and Gunther used to surprise the Dark One. Kick and Brad fight as they would in reality. Kick realizes that he is sharing a dream with his brother and decides to give him a good punch in reality to make him wake up from his dreams. Going back to adult Kendall, fate decrees that she will like him here, and the pervert imagines her as a grown-up, which is also indicative that they will be together when they mature in the future. It's a shame that we'll never see it because Disney Television Animated buried this series a long time ago. The last frame we have is a fancy dance by our favorite Kick Buttowski. No, my dear watchers, I haven't forgotten about the greatest mystery in all of history and humanity, above the existence of the bearded man from The Simpsons, or even whether I'll continue with the chronology of Rick and Morty. What does Kick hide under his helmet? Well, the answer is hair. What else could he be hiding? A skull with a visible brain like a grapefruit? So, my dear fine people, we learned today that you don't have to be like Brad, or you'll die a virgin. Thank you for watching. We will be back once again along with more interesting things to cover to make your day once again. Do not forget to like and subscribe if you have enjoyed the video so far.